I am Devat Maharaj and I would like to welcome you all to my YouTube channel called Brahma Gaje, a channel that is dedicated to philosophical discourse. Please do not forget to click on that like button and also that subscribe button. In this episode, I will be describing, summarizing the day 7 of Shri Shiv Maha Puran Katha held here locally in Maryland, at Finksburg, Maryland, at a temple called the Greater Baltimore Temple. And the Katha was conducted by the High Priest of the temple, Acharya Shri Padmanabh Joshi. Let's get started, shall we? So on this day, Panditji reiterated the concept of non-dualistic worship or Advait Bad. The Shiv worship is often recognized in the form of Advait philosophy, non-dualistic philosophy, that you are not separate from Shiv and Shiv is not separate from you. While you may be in whatever existence or a form that you may be in the end, you will merge into Shiv and you also came from him. So you're not separate. The energy that you carry within, the life force that you carry within is after all Shiv, and it is you simply realizing that and reaching that realization. You will find eternal bliss, joy, pleasure. So this Advait philosophy is the fundamental way to worship Shiv. Then Panditji talked about Tripurasura. So we learned in the last episode how first son of Shiv, the eldest son of Shiv, Skand, also known as Kumar Swami or Kartikeya, killed Tarakasura and saved the Devas. He was the chief, commander-in-chief of the Devas army. Now, the three sons of Tarakasura, Kamlaksh, Vidyunmali, and Tarkaksh. These three sons were great devotees of Lord Shiva. They were so devoted to Shiv worship, they gained supreme power, and Shiva provided them abhay, protection. And using that, or rather misusing that, they conquered all the worlds. And also, they created three different realms. In combination, in union, they are referred here as Tripur. These three different worlds were created in such a way that if one tried to destroy one world, the other two would work in tandem and protect the one that is being attacked. Their battle tactics and their overall management ability through this Tripur became such that nobody could win over them. Not Vishnu, not Brahma, none of the Devas. Nobody could. And therefore here, in combination, in this union, for simplicity, we will refer to these three sons and their entire creation, their realm, as Tripur and them as Tripurasura. So Tripurasura actually are three different demons. The sons of Tarakasura, Kamlaksh, Vidyunmali, and Tarakaksh, as I just mentioned. But their power became such that they worked in union, they were united, and therefore they are also referred to as Tripurasura. They were also doing good karma at the same time. They were also autocratically trying to rule over others. So there were good karmas and then there were bad karmas, both. But after all, they were demons and their overall actions were unjust. All the powers and all the the energy that they had gained from Shiv were misused. Misused in conquering other worlds, other realms, suppressing others, bullying, torturing, and also suppressing the devas. And thus, the entire demon worlds became powerful, mighty. And as I mentioned, they were great devotees of Lord Shiva. So nobody could defeat them. Not a single god or goddess could win over Tripurasura here. Troubles became such that Indra and other devas came to Lord Shiva asking for a way out. And Lord Shiva said, they are great devotees. Yes, they are doing bad karma also, but they are doing good karma. And ultimately, they are my devotees. So they have my protection. And Tripurasura, the three sons, had said, what good is this life if we become old and eventually perish? So we want to remain vibrant, energetic, and never reach old age either. So they were not growing old. They were always mighty and powerful. A poetry by Narsi Mehta comes into mind that Gadapan kone mokalyu. Janiyu joban rahe sau kaal. Umbra to dungra thaya re, padar thaya pardesh. Gadapan kone mokalyu. Janiyu joban rahe sau kaal. Umbra to dungra thaya re, padar thaya pardesh. Evu naffacheya vruddha panure, mukido sau ahankar. Dharmana satya vachan thakire, mehto narsayo utaryo bhavapar. Evu naffacheya vruddha panure, mukido sau ahankar. Dharmana satya vachan thakire, Mehto narsayo utaryo bhavapar. Narsi Mehta here describes that nobody likes to get old. We fear old age, weakness, etc. We always want to stay young and vibrant. But after all, everybody will get old and eventually die. If they don't die through other means, if they are simply dying through aging process, everybody will age and eventually die. That is the fact of life. Anybody who is born must die. So, as he says in the second stanza, that even you may hate old age, don't do that, please. Welcome it with joy. And let all the ego go. Mukido sau ahankar. All the pride, all the ego. Because after all, you became old. With that, you also became wiser. And use your intellect to guide you in the old age. And let the ego go. After all, you were running after material, carnal desires all your life. Now it's the time as you are growing old. Let it go. Relax. Let that ego go. Somebody said something to you, so be it. You, when you were young, also might have said something to others as well. As Narsi Mehta says, that through that understanding, he, Utaryo Bhavapar, he attained salvation. But, going back to here, the story, Tripurasura, the three sons of Tarkasur, hated old age, did not want to grow old at all, and had gained that boon from Shiv, that they would remain as long as they worshipped Shiv in the proper ways, using the proper Vedic methods. They would remain powerful, vibrant, young and mighty, that nobody would be able to conquer them. Condition, they must worship the proper way and follow the right way. So they did that for thousands and thousands and millions of years, and they ruled the universe therefore, and nobody could conquer them. But at the same time, their way of worship was right, but overall karma was not. Just to gain power, they were properly worshipping, they were devoted to Shiv, but they had the ulterior motive. The motive was to still conquer the world, to harass people. So your intention, overall intention, matters when you do bhakti. So they had to be destroyed one way or the other. So Vishnu and others went to Shiv and asked for a way out. And Shiv pointed out that yes, they have gained eternal power, they will always remain young and vibrant, but if they lose their way, if they lose the devotion that they have towards me, if they lose the path of dharma that they are following in the devotional path, through the devotional path, they will no longer be powerful. And you will be able to conquer them. The Tripurasura's union will be broken. Their unity also will be broken through that. So, Bhagavan Vishnu creates Nastik Purush or Yati. And Yati is sent to the three realms. Yati's main intention is to not only break the unity among the three brothers, but corrupt the way of worship through Nastic, atheism. If their concentration is lost, their powers will be lost, and thus the Devas will be able to conquer. So Nastic Purush or Yati started teaching them the wrong ways of worship. The dualistic life story, became the materialistic life story became the center in this case. And through atheistic mentality, the Yati started corrupting the minds of the three brothers in the three realms. And by dualistic mindset, what I really mean here is that the Gnostic Purush said there is no such thing as God, you are the God, look, you are so powerful. Again, the ego came. You can conquer God also. If you gain too much power, you'll be able to conquer from that standpoint. Dualistic meaning you yourself can become God through your own powers and conquer anything that you may as you are. That powerful anyway. Look, nobody is able to defeat you. Again, there is that ego also is something that is being incepted. The inception of ego is also playing a big role here. So Yati, the Nastic Purush, the atheistic mindset, atheism mindset started being formed into the three realms. And thus their minds became corrupt. They were not too sure that if the Shiv worship or the path of devotion or the non-dualistic ideology that they were following or the path of dharma that they were following, the righteous conduct that they were following in the path of worship was right. After all, they started believing that all this was supposed to happen anyway because they are powerful. It is them. And thus the ego also entered their mind. and they lost concentration. And as soon as that happened, the three realms were no longer able to protect each other. The ego plays a role even in the brothers, right? The brothers started questioning each other. The unity was broken, the union was broken. Ego kills, destroys, divides families. Again, this is a lesson also, that you may be the best buddies, best brothers, best what have you. But once that ego enters your mind, everything is lost. So Shiv, using just one single arrow, destroys all three realms. The Tripurasura thus were killed, and Tripur was destroyed. Then Panditji talked about that if you are searching for Guru, go to Hanuman. Lord Hanuman is the best Guru. Then Panditji talked about the story of Jalandhara. And the story here is that one day, now that the Tripurasura have been destroyed, Tarakasura is gone, Indra now became fully powerful. The god of thunder, or the god of heaven, or the god of gods, and thus also start developing ego. But he wanted to thank Shiv and says, I am so thankful to Lord Shiv, let's go and visit. And takes his teacher Brihaspati, the guru, with him. They travel. Shiv knows that he has developed this ego, now that he has become all this powerful, wanted to test Indra. So Shiv disguises as a Aghori, a sadhu, a saint, an ascetic, just right. When they were traveling, this big sadhu just appeared before them and would not let them pass. Indra sees the sadhu and says, what an arrogant person you are. This is Kailash. We want to go to Shiv and you are in our way. Move away. Sadhu wouldn't move. Indra became so angry that he took his vajra out, the weapon that was so strong that it could destroy mountains. Here, the Brihaspati realized that this saint, this sage, is not an ordinary sage. He is Shiv himself testing. But before he could say anything to his pupil, Indra started attacking Lord Shiv, here disguised as a sadhu. And Indra attacked Shiv with Vajra. Vajra stopped in the middle. After all, he's attacking Lord Shiv, and Shiv became very angry that Indra has failed the test. The ego again corrupted Indra's mind. So Shiva directed his anger towards Indra and appeared in his full form. Now Indra finally realized, apologized to Lord Shiv and says, I am so sorry. You have taught me a lesson. I have finally let my ego go. Please do not destroy me or this entire creation, because your anger can do that. And Brihaspati, Indra's teacher, also requested Shiv that please forgive us. And Shiv is easily pleased when they sang the great poems and songs. Shiv said, okay, fine, now that you have learned your lesson, I will not destroy you or the worlds, but my anger that has come out must go somewhere. And Brihaspati says, direct it towards the ocean. Ocean can take it. And the anger of Shiv goes towards the ocean and gets converted into a boy, Jalandhar. And Jalandhar therefore becomes the son of ocean. In the meantime, Samudra Manthan, the story of Samudra Manthan is also something that Panditji briefly touched, specifically pointing out that from Samudra Manthan came nectar, which the Devas took the Amrut, But also came wines, liquor, Madeira, alcohol, what have you. And that went to Asura. So Jalandhar now, going back to that, the little boy is very powerful. And he's taught now by the god, the ocean god himself, the Samudradev. And he becomes a great warrior, conquers all the world. Indra's Swarg, and all the other realms also. Again, this is another lesson through which, when ego was developed by Indra, that ego becomes the cause of him losing all his might, all his wealth, all his respect. Again, ego becomes the center here. It is through his ego that he tried to attack Shiv. Shiv taught him a lesson, didn't destroy him. But at the end of the day, that anger got converted into Jalandhar, who conquered Indra again and everything. And Jalandhar is after Shivansh. He was born through Shiv's energy, but Shiv's anger. That energy. Very powerful, but very destructive as well. So Shiv knew that this is also wrong. Even though Jalandhar technically is his Ansh, his son also, he must be destroyed. Because after all, he only knows one thing, anger. And through anger, he can conquer anything that he wishes. However, Jalandhar's wife is Vrinda. And Vrinda is a very pious wife. She's devoted to Jalandhar in such a way that she loves her husband. And her love becomes the protection from anybody. Jalandhar, therefore, can not be defeated by anyone because his wife and his wife's devotion towards him becomes the protection. And Vrinda is also not an ordinary girl. She is, after all, the daughter of Mahadanav, who is a great architect of the demons, a great demon himself, a very powerful one. So Vrinda and Jalandhar together conquer everything that there was to conquer. And Vrinda supported her husband in all aspects, good or bad. So now Indra is worried again. And all the devas go to Lord Shiv and they ask for a way out. Lord Shiv says that Jalandhar is, after all, my Ansh, and his wife Vrinda is so devoted to him that nothing can conquer him. But Vishnu Bhagwan might have a way. So the devas went to Vishnu Bhagwan, and Vishnu Bhagwan said, yep, the protection that Jalandhar is gaining is from his wife Vrinda. If somehow Vrinda cheated on Jalandhar, which is almost unlikely because she is so devoted to him, but if she did, knowingly or unknowingly, that protection may be lost. So Vishnu Bhagwan takes a form of Jalandhar, looks like him, okay, he is Vishnu, and one night spoils Vrinda and her devotion. In bed, Vrinda recognizes that this is not her husband and says, you behave like my husband, you look like my husband, but you are not, because I can still feel your energy. And that's not the same as Jalandhar. Vishnu Bhagavan appears in the pure form and says, Vrinda, I am Vishnu. And I had to do this so that your devotion towards your husband would be lost. And therefore your husband could be killed. And on the other hand, Jalandhar is destroyed by Lord Shiv. Vrinda becomes sad, at the same time angry, and curses Vishnu to become a stone. Why? Because says, Vishnu, you are so stone-hearted that you took advantage of me and my devotion towards my husband and unknowingly made me act in a way that I did not want to act. But Vishnu Bhagavan said this was something that had to be done, unfortunately, Vrinda, because you were devoted to the wrong cause. And that wrong cause still had to end. Jalandhar was the wrong cause. Through wrong means, if you're supporting somebody, even if that's your father, your husband, your son, but if that person is doing a wrong act, you are equally to blame. So I had to do this. But I like your devotion. So I give you a boon. I accept your curse. I will become the stone, but you will also become a plant, the holy basil, the Vrinda plant, the Tulsi plant. And through your plant form, you will give me happiness and you will now remain my wife in that plant form. I accept you as my wife. And Tulsi and Shaligram thus came into existence. Then Panditji talked about how demons, these stories of demons and what have you, really isn't about somebody else. It's really about ourselves. The demons are in ourselves. The ego, the envy, the jealousy, the way, the self-centeredness that sometimes we develop, in which we say, I am the best, I can do everything, and I am the one, this, that. All these are the demons that we must fight constantly. The anger, the jealousy, the envy, the ego, and all that. And those are the demons. So these stories are symbolically really talking about that. If you learn to become human, if you let all these bad karma go, or the cause of the bad karma go, the reasons for your bad karma, if you let them go, then you will become pure human. That is, you will attain nirvana, moksha, what have you. You will attain self-realization. You will become one with the pure bliss or blissful energy, Shiv. A poetry comes into mind by Chakrapast Brij Narayan, about 20th century Urdu poet who was also known for reciting Ramayana in Urdu. A poetry by him comes into the mind, and really a wonderful poetry, that is, Darde dil paase wafa jazbae ima hona. Darde dil paase wafa jazbae ima hona. आदमियत है यही और यही इंसान होना. दर्द दिल पासे वफा जज्बाए ईमा होना. आदमियत है यही और यही इंसान होना. Through your right conduct, passion, compassion for others, through good thoughts and good deed, and through good intentions, you can become a true or good human being. And that is all, after all, the purpose of living. that living, as Socrates has once said, that unexamined life is not worth living. But when you examine your acts, your karma, do the right conduct, have the compassion or passion for others, and from that, you become good human. Then Panditji talked about that Vishnu and Shiv are after all one. And we spoke about that in the previous episodes also. It is a sin to differentiate or say that Vishnu is Vishnu and Shiv is Shiv. After all, the pure energy is all Shiv. You can call it what you may. You can call it Allah. You can call it Vishnu. You can call it Brahma. You can call it in whatever form that you like. Call it. But realize that the ultimate energy is one, and it is sin, wrong, to differentiate and fight over that, or convert somebody over that, or forcefully tell one person that you must worship this or that. Again, it's an arrogance, it's a vidya, it's you not realizing this central, this fundamental fact that pure energy, the divine energy, is after all one. Then Panditji talked about Golok, how Shiv created Golok, in which Radha and Krishna live. It is the same divine realm where Vishnu Bhagwan is also staying. And then Panditji talked about Shukracharya. The story of Shukracharya is very similar to that of Jalandhara, that this is a great demon who conquered all the worlds, but he was sustained by his wife Tulsi. And Vishnu Bhagwan, like he did with Vrinda, spoils Tulsi, and Shiv destroyed Shankhachuda, and Tulsi becomes the plant, marries Vishnu as Shaligram. So again, there are two stories, two very similar stories in which the love or the devotion of the wife is what protects the demons. Again, if you are a wife, your first duty is to teach, guide your husband towards righteous act, towards good conduct, not to simply support him in whatever act that he is doing. Because then you are equally guilty of that bad karma. So in this case, Tulsi also becomes plant. You can think of it as different species of Tulsi. There are different varieties of Tulsi as a plant also. They're all very auspicious. They're all called holy basils. And they have Ayurvedic or medicinal benefits also. If you crush the Tulsi leaf, you can use that juice, drink it. It's good for your throat. It's good for immunity. It also tastes and smells good. You can also put it in tea and other things. And Lord Vishnu loves Tulsi. So if you're offering something to Lord Vishnu in your prayers, put Tulsi, just one leaf of Tulsi into that, whatever that you're offering to Vishnu, and he will accept it right away. After all, Tulsi is the wife of Vishnu as Shaligram. So another story that was mentioned, very similar to the story of Jalandhara. This was the story of Shankhachuda, in how Shiv destroyed Shankhachuda as soon as Shankhachuda's wife Tulsi lost her devotion through Vishnu disguised as Shankhachuda and spoiling her, teaching her in a way also that if you support the wrong cause, you too will lose or spoil your divinity no matter what happens. And then Shankar Bhagwan's another energy form, Andhak, when one day just playing with Shiv, Mata Parvati accidentally closes Shiv's eyes. And Shiv said, Devi, what did you do? That energy that came from that instance became Andhak, the blind demon, but also Shivansh, who conquered all the worlds again, and Shiv eventually destroys Andhak. Then Panditji talked about how Bhasmasura was killed by Mohini Swarup of Vishnu. Bhasmasura took the boon from Shiv that nobody could conquer him but himself. Only himself shall become the cause of his own destruction. Shiv said, Tathastu. And as soon as that happened, Bhasmasura went after Shiv, because the boon was that he could turn anybody into ashes. If that Bhasmasura put his hand on anything or anybody with the intention of destroying that person would be destroyed. And Shiva had said, yeah, go ahead. Of course, immortality is impossible, so that itself too will become the cause of your own destruction. And Bhasmasura said, okay, I accept it. I'm not going to put hand on my head and destroy myself, right? Well, Mohini Swarup was so beautiful that in dance, in the act of dancing, the demon Bhasmasura accidentally places the hand on his own head and destroys himself, turns into ashes. Again, the act of Vishnu aiding, helping the cause of Devas. But also the lesson here is that often we ourselves become the cause of our own self-destruction, because our ego, again, becomes the center, and we end up doing destructive acts, unrealized. In this case, the Bhasmasura was so much in the, he was, the Mohini Swarup of Bhagwan Vishnu was beautiful, and his lust became such that it became uncontrolled. And that uncontrolled lust became the cause of his own destruction. Often our own carnal desires, materialistic desires, become the end for ourselves. Then finally, Panditji talked about the story of Shukracharya, how once Shiv swallowed Shukracharya because nobody could conquer or defeat or win over Shukracharya, and Shiv had to swallow him. And Shukracharya realized it, and Shukracharya came out through the phallus, the procreation or procreative gland of Shiv, and therefore, because he came from the sperms, through that he is called Shukra or Shukracharya. That's why he's named Shukracharya, because he came from the linga or phallus of Shiv. And only Shukracharya is taught the Sanjeevani Vidya. He could revive any dead person. Shiv is his teacher. And through great devotion is how he gained that power. Then Panditji talked about how Katha is the true meaning of Katha, such as Shiv Puran Maha Katha or Bhagavad Katha or what have you. Katha simply means stabilizing your intellect into the knowledge of Brahma, the cosmos. And this entire channel is called Brahma Gaje with that intention also. That through our discourse, we can center, we can focus ourselves towards the Brahma Jnana, towards the realization, the philosophic realization through philosophy, through concepts, through moral values and virtue. We can gain our focus towards Brahma Jnana. So, listening to, reciting, meditating, thinking about various kathas or various philosophical topics for that matter, will get you closer to Brahma Jnana. You gain the opportunity to realize that you are part of the cosmos and cosmos are within you. You are the universe and universe is you. And that requires constant focus, reminder that in our daily busy lives, sometimes we must find few seconds, few minutes, few hours to think about what we are doing, the moral, the virtuous ideas, concepts, philosophies. That is all I have. Om Namah Shivaya.